September 2025. The United Kingdom government made an announcement that stopped Bible scholars cold. A mandatory digital identification system, biometric data required, full implementation by 2029. Banking, employment, healthcare, all tied to one system. Cannot participate in society without it. And the parallels to a 2,000-year-old prophecy? Exact. Not similar. Not close, exact. The technology described in Revelation 13, the economic control mechanism, the biometric requirement, the mandatory participation, all of it matching point by point. This isn't speculation anymore. This is policy. And what's happening in the UK is already spreading across Europe, with 27 nations implementing identical systems. The infrastructure for total economic control is being built right now. The timeline, 5 years. The question, what happens when it's complete? But first, the announcement that changed everything.
Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more awe-inspiring stories of faith, survival, and miracles.
September 2025. UK Home Secretary Yvette Cooper stands before Parliament. The announcement? A comprehensive digital identity system. Not optional, not experimental, mandatory. The official name, gov.uk Digital Identity. The timeline? Voluntary rollout begins 2026, full mandate by 2029. The stated purpose? Streamline right-to-work verification, reduce identity fraud, modernize government services. Here's what the system requires. Biometric enrollment, facial recognition captured through smartphone cameras, fingerprint data stored in centralized databases, every citizen, every legal resident connected to a single digital profile. The government calls it efficiency. Civil liberties groups call it something else. Within weeks of the announcement, 2.9 million people signed a petition against it, the largest digital rights protest in UK history. Big Brother Watch, a privacy organization, used one word to describe the proposal: un-British. But the government isn't backing down. The Digital Identity and Verification Bill is moving forward. The infrastructure is being built. Post offices across the nation are being equipped as enrollment centers. The NHS is integrating its systems. Banks are preparing their verification protocols. By 2029, this system becomes the gateway to essential services. Need to prove right to work? Digital ID required. Open a bank account? Digital ID required. Access government benefits? Digital ID required. The government insists this is about modernization and security, but here's what they're not emphasizing. Once implemented, this system creates complete visibility. Every verification logged, every transaction tracked, every interaction with government services recorded. The technical term? Identity Assurance Framework. The practical reality? Comprehensive surveillance infrastructure. And the UK isn't alone in this. Because while Britain's announcement made headlines, something larger was already in motion, something coordinated, something that spans continents. Which brings us to the pattern that nobody's discussing. July 2024, 15 months before the UK announcement, the European Union passes Regulation 910/2014 amendment, the European Digital Identity Wallet. Mandatory availability across all 27 member states by 2026. The features: biometric verification, centralized authentication, integration with banking, healthcare, travel, employment, universal acceptance across borders. Sound familiar? The EU wallet isn't a suggestion, it's a regulatory requirement. Every member nation must implement it. 450 million people, one system, 2-year deadline. But the timeline raises questions. The EU decides in July 2024. The UK announces in September 2025. Different governments, different systems, identical features. Same biometric requirements, same centralized databases, same mandatory timelines converging between 2026 and 2029. Coincidence? Perhaps. But then there's the global framework. The United Nations hosts an initiative called ID 2020. The stated mission: provide digital identity to everyone on Earth by 2030. The partners? Microsoft, Accenture, the Rockefeller Foundation, Gavi Vaccine Alliance. The goal? Universal digital identification within 5 years. ID 2020 operates in Bangladesh, implementing biometric vaccination records. In Kenya, establishing digital birth registrations. In the United States, working with healthcare providers on patient identification systems. Different regions, different applications, same underlying infrastructure. Biometric identity linked to essential services. And there's more. India already implemented Aadhaar, a biometric ID system covering 1.3 billion people. Iris scans, fingerprints, facial recognition, all connected to banking, government benefits, mobile phone services. Without Aadhaar, citizens cannot access basic services. The system is 10 years old. It works. It's operational. It's the model. China takes it further. The social credit system links digital identity to behavior monitoring. Facial recognition cameras track movements, purchase history analyzed, social media monitored, online activity logged, everything feeding into a score that determines access to transportation, housing, employment, education. These aren't proposals. These are functioning systems, proven technology, tested infrastructure, and Western nations are now implementing variations of the same framework. Australia announced its digital identity system in 2024. Canada's digital identity program launched in 2023. New Zealand began its digital identity trust framework in 2022. All voluntary at first, all promising convenience and security, all moving toward mandatory implementation. The pattern is undeniable. Within a 5-year window, from 2024 to 2029, every major Western democracy is establishing biometric digital identity infrastructure. The timelines overlap. The features mirror each other. The trajectory is identical. Voluntary adoption, increased pressure, mandatory compliance.
Different names, different governments, different continents, same system, same timeline, same endpoint. Which raises the obvious question: why now? Why simultaneously? Why identical implementations across dozens of nations? The official answer: technological advancement and security threats require coordinated response. But there's another explanation, one that was written 2,000 years ago, one that describes exactly this type of system, which is where the prophecy becomes impossible to ignore. Revelation chapter 13, written approximately 95 AD by John of Patmos. Verses 16 through 18 describe a future system of total economic control. The text states that a powerful authority will force all people, regardless of status or wealth, to receive a mark. This mark will be placed on the right hand or forehead. Without this mark, no one can buy or sell anything. The mark contains identifying information linking the bearer to the controlling authority. For nearly 2 millennia, scholars debated what this could mean. How could one system control all commerce? How could a mark be placed on every person? How could economic exclusion be enforced globally? The technology didn't exist. The infrastructure seemed impossible. The global coordination unimaginable. Until now. Because suddenly, every impossible element has a modern equivalent. Not speculation, not stretching, direct parallels. The prophecy describes forced participation for all people. Modern reality, mandatory digital ID systems being implemented across multiple nations, with no exemptions for wealthy or poor, citizen or resident. Everyone must comply. The prophecy describes a mark on the hand or forehead. Modern reality, biometric identification using fingerprints, hand, and facial recognition, forehead. The exact body parts specified 2,000 years ago are now the standard for digital identification. The prophecy describes inability to buy or sell without the mark, complete economic lockout, total financial exclusion, survival-level control. Modern systems, the UK digital ID is required for banking and employment, cannot open accounts, cannot prove right to work, cannot conduct business transactions. The EU wallet integrates with financial services. India's Aadhaar is mandatory for banking and government benefits. China's system controls access to transportation, housing, and commerce. The parallel, participation in economy requires the system. Refusal means exclusion, exactly as described. Revelation indicates one system, one authority, one point of control, everything flowing through a single mechanism. Modern systems, national identity databases linking all services. The UK's gov.uk digital identity connects NHS records, tax information, banking, employment verification, everything tied to one biometric profile, one database, one verification system, one access point controlling everything else. The parallel, centralized infrastructure with single point of authentication, exactly as described. Revelation implies the system knows who has the mark and who doesn't. It can identify, track, and enforce. It has visibility into all transactions. Modern systems, every verification creates a log entry, every transaction recorded, every interaction tracked. The UK system includes identity assurance framework with activity monitoring. The EU wallet tracks cross-border usage. China's system provides real-time location and behavior monitoring, complete visibility into all digital interactions. The parallel, comprehensive surveillance capability built into the infrastructure, exactly as described. Revelation prophesies authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. Not one region, not one country, global scope. Modern systems, the UN's ID 2020 explicitly targets universal digital identity by 2030. The EU covers 27 nations. Similar systems in UK, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, India, China, and dozens of other nations, all implementing within a 5-year window, all using similar technology, all moving toward the same endpoint. The parallel, coordinated global implementation, exactly as described. 6 direct parallels, not interpretations, not loose connections, not stretched analogies, point-by-point correspondence between a 2,000-year-old prophecy and 21st century policy. 1 parallel might be coincidence, 2 could be interesting, 3 raises questions, but 6 exact matches across multiple independent elements. That's not coincidence, that's pattern, and patterns this precise don't happen randomly. But here's what makes this even more significant. It's not just what these systems are, it's how they're being implemented, the strategy, the messaging, the rollout, because that too was predicted. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3, another prophecy about the end times. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly. Peace, safety, that's the key phrase. The deception won't announce itself as tyranny. It will market itself as protection. Control will be packaged as security. Surveillance will be sold as safety. And that's exactly what's happening. The UK government's messaging, safer banking, faster travel, fraud-proof identification. The EU's campaign, secure your digital life, protect your identity, simplify services across Europe. ID 2020's mission statement, providing identity to empower individuals and promote financial inclusion. Peace, safety, security, protection, convenience, efficiency. The exact messaging pattern predicted 2,000 years ago. But watch how the implementation works. 3 phases, same pattern across every system. Launch the system as optional. Offer incentives for early adoption. Faster services, easier access, skip the lines, get benefits first. Make it desirable, make it seem advantageous, create social proof through early adopters.
The UK started this in 2026 with voluntary enrollment. The EU wallet launched as an option for those who want convenience. India's Aadhaar began with incentives for registration. Get people comfortable with the system, normalize it, make it seem like everyone's doing it. Make life harder for non-participants. New bank accounts require digital ID, mortgages need verification, large transactions get flagged. Government services become difficult to access without the system. It's still technically voluntary, but participation becomes practically necessary. The UK implements this in 2027 with banking requirements. The EU adds employment verification. Services shift to digital-first approaches. Paper alternatives become slower, more complicated, deliberately inconvenient. The message: you can resist, but why make your life harder? Eliminate alternatives entirely. The system becomes mandatory for all essential services. Cannot work without it, cannot bank without it, cannot access healthcare without it, cannot function in society without it. The trap closes completely. The UK reaches this in 2029. Full mandate, no exceptions, complete compliance required. And by this point, the infrastructure is so embedded, the alternatives so eliminated that resistance becomes nearly impossible. 3 phases, 2 to 3 years per phase, voluntary to mandatory in 5 years. The strategy is ancient, the technology is modern, the result is identical. Populations accepting control systems they would have rejected if implemented suddenly. This isn't theory, this is documented rollout strategy, and it's working because people don't resist gradual change the way they resist sudden imposition. The frog in slowly boiling water, the chains added link by link, the cage built bar by bar. Peace, safety, that's what they're saying, while building the most comprehensive control infrastructure in human history. And the timeline for full implementation? That's where the urgency becomes undeniable. Look at the dates, really examine them. UK digital identity, mandatory 2029. EU digital wallet, available 2026, integrated by 2028. UN ID 2020, universal coverage target 2030. India's Aadhaar, already operational. China's social credit, fully functional. Everything converging between 2026 and 2030, a 4-year window. That's not decades away. That's not some distant future. That's next presidential term. That's one Olympic cycle. That's now. Within 4 years, the infrastructure for global digital identity and economic control will be fully operational across every major economy. The technology proven, the systems tested, the populations enrolled, the legal frameworks established. But here's the critical question. If this is the infrastructure for the mark system, what does that mean about prophetic timing? Biblical prophecy indicates the actual mark of the beast comes during the tribulation period. The tribulation is a 7-year period of judgment after the rapture of the church. During this time, the Antichrist rises to power and implements the mark as a requirement for buying and selling.
The infrastructure being built now isn't the mark itself, but it's the foundation the mark requires. The house being constructed before the occupant arrives. The electrical wiring installed before the power is turned on. Think about the logic. If the tribulation infrastructure is nearly complete, that means the tribulation must be close. And if the tribulation is close, that means the rapture, which occurs before the tribulation, must be even closer. The infrastructure doesn't get built during the tribulation. It gets built before. During the tribulation, the Antichrist simply takes control of existing systems, rebrands them, and requires allegiance as a condition of access, which means the infrastructure phase is now. The preparation phase is happening. The systems are being positioned. And once they're fully operational, once every piece is in place, once the framework is complete, then what? Then all that's missing is the central figure who will control it, the one element that transforms infrastructure into implementation, the missing piece. The stage is set, the technology exists, the legal frameworks are in place, the timelines are synchronized,
The global coordination is operational. Everything required for total economic control through digital identity is being built right now, except one element: the central authority who will control it all. Revelation describes this figure, the beast, the Antichrist, the one who demands not just identification, but allegiance, not just participation, but worship. The mark isn't merely a verification system, it's a declaration of loyalty. Taking the mark means choosing sides. Refusing the mark means rejecting his authority. And that's the critical distinction between current systems and the actual mark. Today's digital IDs are about identity and access. The mark will be about identity and allegiance. The technology is the same, the implementation is similar, but the spiritual dimension transforms it into something entirely different. Current systems say, prove who you are to access services. The mark will say, prove who you worship to survive. But here's what matters right now. When the Antichrist appears, he won't need to build this infrastructure from scratch. He won't need to convince populations to accept biometric identification. He won't need to establish centralized databases or integrate financial systems or create global coordination. All of that already exists or will exist by 2030. He simply needs to take control, rebrand it, add the allegiance requirement, flip the switch. The house is nearly built, the wiring is installed, the systems are tested, the populations are enrolled and conditioned, everything ready, waiting. For what? For whom? For the figure who will promise peace and safety, who will offer solutions to global chaos, who will present himself as humanity's answer, and who will use existing infrastructure to demand total submission. The Antichrist doesn't create the system, he inherits it. And inheriting is so much easier than building, which means the infrastructure being completed now tells us something crucial about timing, about proximity, about how close things really are. So what does this mean? What are the implications of infrastructure being built for a system that prophecy says comes during the tribulation? If the infrastructure is nearly complete, the tribulation must be near, not centuries away, not generations away, near. And if the tribulation is near, the rapture is nearer. Because according to biblical prophecy, the church is removed before God's wrath is poured out. Believers won't experience the tribulation period. They won't face the Antichrist's reign. They won't need to refuse the mark. They'll be gone. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 9. God has not appointed believers to wrath. The church escapes the tribulation period. The rapture happens first. But if tribulation infrastructure is operational by 2030, how much time remains? How close is the moment when everything changes, when millions vanish in an instant, when the restraining force is removed and evil is unleashed? These aren't abstract theological debates anymore. This is watching prophecy materialize into policy. This is seeing ancient warnings become modern reality. This is recognizing the season. Jesus spoke about recognizing signs. He said people can predict weather by observing clouds and wind. How much more should they recognize the signs of the times? He criticized religious leaders for missing the obvious, for not seeing what was right in front of them. And right now, the signs are undeniable. Digital ID systems going global, biometric requirements becoming universal, economic exclusion built into the infrastructure, timelines converging within 5 years, everything aligning exactly as Revelation described. This generation is watching the stage being set for the final act of human history. The props are in place, the actors are positioned, the script was written 2,000 years ago, and the curtain is rising, which leaves one question, one consideration that cannot be avoided, one reality that demands response. Because infrastructure doesn't wait, timelines don't pause, and prophetic fulfillment doesn't negotiate. September 2025 marked a turning point, not because governments announced new technology, but because the final pieces moved into position. For 2,000 years, the mark of the beast remained theoretical. Scholars debated mechanisms. Technology advanced incrementally. Each generation wondered if they would witness the fulfillment, and each generation passed without the infrastructure existing. Until now, biometric identification, universal mandate, economic exclusion, centralized control, global coordination, every element required for the Revelation 13 system now exists or will exist within 5 years. The UK, the EU, the UN's 2030 target, India's operational system, China's functioning surveillance state, different names, different governments, same infrastructure, same timeline, same trajectory. And it's not slowing down, it's accelerating. The UK moved from announcement to mandatory implementation in 4 years. The EU required all member states to comply within 2 years. The UN set a global deadline. The momentum is building.
Every week, another nation announces digital identity initiatives. Every month, more services require biometric verification. Every quarter, cash becomes less viable. The infrastructure isn't coming, it's here, and it's expanding. Which means when the Antichrist appears, when the tribulation begins, when the actual mark is implemented, the hard work will already be done. The populations will already be enrolled. The systems will already be integrated. The dependencies will already be established. He just takes control. And if the infrastructure is this close to completion, if the timelines are this synchronized, if the parallels are this exact, then how much time remains before the central figure arrives, before the voluntary becomes worship, before the infrastructure activates? The framework is built, the stage is set, the clock is running. And in 2030, when the UN's Universal Digital Identity target arrives, when every major system reaches operational status, when the global infrastructure stands complete,